Hey guys, Dr. Richard Ulm here. I'm here with Dr. Bradley Muse here at CCRC. In this video, we wanted to talk about radiculopathy. So that's a common thing that you will hear out there, and we wanted to kind of educate you, what is radiculopathy specifically, what does it have to do with the condition that you may or may not have, how do you assess it, and how do you treat it?
Yeah, so radiculopathy is going to be a case where we have symptoms that are going into the arm or the leg. But just because you have symptoms into the arm or the leg does not necessarily mean it's a radiculopathy. So when we're talking about these cases, radiculopathy is actually a symptom of something that's causing it. So for it to be considered a radiculopathy, I feel like I'm saying radiculopathy a lot, but it's
We're trying for SEO, we're trying to get as much radiculopathy in here.
So it's a neurogenic issue, meaning we have these nerve roots in the neck, in the low back, that when they're stressed, whether it's through pinching, so like a pinched nerve, tension, or some kind of blunt force trauma, that can aggravate that nerve root, which can then give us these radicular type symptoms down the arm. Now, not all radiculopathies are built the same. So with that in mind, we got to talk a little bit about assessment and treatment.
Yeah, I mean, you can have, usually radiculopathy is going to be associated with sort of like intense aching or lightning symptoms or whatever. They don't have to go all the way down to the arms, all the way down into the hand. A lot of people will think that like, oh, I've got radiculopathy. You can technically have radiculopathy that just goes into the shoulder. We see this all the time, right? But you can also have numbness and tingling. You can have weakness in the muscles. Mm-hmm. Those are all neurogenic, meaning coming from the nerve, and that comes from some sort of pathology, whether it's like a chemical pathology or a blunt force trauma or something that's damaging the nerve, producing symptoms into the arm. Okay. Now, like as he said, it's really just a symptom. So it'd be like coming in and saying like, oh, if the doctor identifies that you have radiculopathy, that's like saying like, hey, you have low back pain. Cool. Like, yeah. Good to know. Like, now what do we do with it? And that's where the assessment and the treatment comes in. So the good news is, these are things that can be fixed, and if you go into a good clinic, they're going to do a thorough assessment and figure out, number one, are the symptoms into your arm or your leg actually true radiculopathy, meaning they're coming from a nerve? Are they coming from something else? And then they have to dig in and figure out, well, where is that? Which nerve is it? You can have radiculopathy that follows a specific nerve, like the median nerve, which is the one that's famous for the carpal tunnel syndrome. I just said the carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yes.
For carpal tunnel syndrome, and there's a radial nerve and an ulnar nerve, there's some other ones in there. Or you can actually have nerve root issues, which are going to sort of show up in different areas.
Right.
And really, to be honest with you, we're going to use two main tools that we're going to identify this. Number one, we're going to do a thorough neurological evaluation. So that's going to be testing, your ability to feel sensation in different parts of the arms or the legs. That's going to be testing your reflexes. That's going to be also testing the muscle strength at given areas so that we can assess at which level is the radiculopathy coming from. The other one is going to be McKenzie. So McKenzie, as you might have seen if you've been perusing around the website or YouTube, we've got all the docs actually are certainly trained in McKenzie. Dr. Muse and I have actually been certified in McKenzie. So this is a very powerful tool that's going to use repetitive movements of the neck or the back to be able to identify, if the pain or the symptoms are coming from the spine itself. Now, we've got tons of videos on McKenzie that I advise that you sort of like check out if you're interested in that. It's an incredibly gentle, it's an incredibly powerful, and it's non-invasive tool to address, not only to address, but also to identify radiculopathy.
Yeah, and the McKenzie Method, once again, go look at our other videos, but it's specific to the individual. When we're working with these radiculopathies, we need to figure out if there's a specific direction, in the case of the neck and the arm, that we got to move that thing to get those symptoms back up out of the arm. So.
Yeah. Now, if you have radiculopathy or you think that you have radiculopathy, or if a doctor has told you that you have radiculopathy, you need to make sure that you go somewhere where they can assess where is it coming from. Is it true radiculopathy? What's the severity of the radiculopathy? And have somebody go in there and actually look at that. We obviously favor McKenzie. and some other techniques that we have other videos on, like neurodynamics, nerve movement stuff. But the thing that we want you to realize is that it is fixable. It's just a symptom to a bigger problem. But if you have someone that can thoroughly sort of evaluate it, these things are fixable. No matter how severe the symptoms, the vast majority of the time, there is something that you can do that is non-surgical to fix your symptoms.
Go look at the other videos, follow us on Instagram, reach out if you have any questions, but hopefully this was helpful for you guys.
See you guys.